Centuries ago, the kingdoms of Aer'yndor stood divided, warring, competing, fractured by ambition and fear. That is, until the day the first accords were forged, an alliance between the great kingdoms, a pact not only between rulers, but one blessed by the divine power of the old gods themselves. And for generations, that accord held, not perfectly, but long enough for the world to believe in something greater than itself: unity. And then, the world broke. During the events, now known as the Shattering, Aer'yndor was torn apart, and the city of Lunesra fell, and with it, the representatives of that ancient pact. The Accords died in fire and ruin. The kingdoms were left alone, cut off from one another, forced to survive in a fractured world. But the story did not end there. In the aftermath of the Shattering, new heroes rose, not kings, not knights, but individuals who chose to stand when everything else fell. They fought back against the force that had broken the world. They confronted the usurper god, and in doing so, they became something more. When the shattered god fell, those heroes ascended, becoming the new gods of Aer'yndor. And with their power, they did the impossible. They put the world back together. But the world they restored, it wasn't the same. When Aer'yndor was reforged, something unexpected happened. The divine realms themselves were pulled into the mortal plane, stitched into existence, fragmented, unnatural. These places became known as the Fallen Realms, echoes of divinity now embedded within the world, powerful and mysterious and just not fully understood. And in the years that followed, the kingdoms struggled to recover. Refugees fled across the land. Old borders meant less than survival. And in that chaos, one kingdom made an unanticipated choice. Drakarn, the homeland of the Dracona, for centuries remained isolated, watching the world from a distance, believing themselves to be the first people to ever walk Aer'yndor and therefore somehow better. But when the world shattered, their emperor saw the truth. To stand by and do nothing was no different than being responsible for the shattering itself. And with that, Emperor Cassian Vyrel III opened their borders, welcoming refugees from across Valdrenin, and among them, largely, the gnomes. And over the last 20 years, something extraordinary has been built. The Dracona, with their deep connection to magic, and the gnomes, with their unmatched ingenuity, they've come together. And from that union, they've transformed the capital, Scarinthal. Built upon the ancestral birthing lands of the Dracona, now reborn as a city unlike any other in Aer'yndor, a place where arcane power and mechanical innovation exist as one, towering structures of ivory and steel, engines powered by magic, a civilization pushed beyond what the world once thought possible. Scarinthal has become the pinnacle of a new age, but peace has not yet been fully restored. And with the eventual death of their emperor, the Dracona heir took the throne, Emperor Cassian Vyrel IV. And where his father opened the gates, the son sought to open the world. With the old accords destroyed and the kingdom scattered, he has called for something new. A second accord, a new gathering of representatives from across Aer'yndor, old kingdoms, new powers, survivors, scholars, wanderers. All are welcome. All are invited to come to Scarinthal and forge a new pact, to unite the world once more. And that is where our story begins. The city of Scarenthal stands on the edge of history. Its gates open to the world for the first time in generations. Now these streets are filled with new faces, some coming to witness the Accord, others come to seek opportunity, and others still come for reasons I have yet to reveal. Tonight is the night of the first gathering. The Imperium Chamber prepares to host the delegation from across the world. The city hums with anticipation, and beneath it all, something else begins to stir. But even before the second Accord can begin, there are whispers. Quiet at first, easy to dismiss, but spreading. Stories that something is already wrong. Delegates arrive with conflicting accounts, allies refusing to meet each other's gaze, old grievances surfacing where none should remain. Some say it's greed, that certain powers seek to control the new Accord before it's even formed. Others claim jealousy, that not all are willing to accept a world shaped by new gods and new alliances. And some speak of something far more dangerous, something unseen, something moving beneath the surface of these negotiations, guiding hands, twisting intentions, ensuring that unity never truly takes hold. Because if the Accord fails, the kingdoms will remain divided. In a divided world, is far easier to control. Whatever the cause, one thing is certain. The Accord is already beginning to fracture before it's even been sealed, and the truth of why remains hidden. In a city filled with power, knowledge, and opportunity, two separate groups of adventurers will begin to uncover that truth, following different leads, walking different paths, unaware of one another, at least for now. Each piece of the puzzle they uncover brings them closer to understanding what's truly happening within Scarenthal, and whether the Accord can be saved or if it's doomed to fall like the one before it. Because this story does not promise a single outcome. The Accord may hold, it may collapse, the truth may be revealed, or it may remain buried beneath ambition and deception. The world may unite once more or fracture beyond repair. So the question isn't just what will happen, but who will uncover it first, and whether they set things right or let the winds of fate carry them towards a destiny of their own. At the start of Oathfyre, our characters don't all begin together. Instead, they start the story on different paths. Some begin in the upper district, within the halls of the Imperium, among nobles and diplomats and power brokers. They are already a part of the Accord, or close enough to influence it. Others begin in the middle district, among scholars, inventors, guilds. They're here on personal business, a mission, a mystery, an opportunity, something that brought them to this city exactly at the right time. And some of them arrive in the lower district, stepping into Scarenthal for the very first time. Travelers, mercenaries, wanderers. They're not yet a part of the story, but they're about to be. Different paths, different purposes, but fate has already begun to move, because before long, these stories will intersect. And when they do, the world will begin to change again. But there is one more force at work in this story, one that neither the characters nor the gods can fully control: the winds of fate. Throughout this campaign, the audience itself will influence the story. At key moments, the wind will begin to shift, a countdown will begin, and as it does, the balance of fate begins to tip. When that countdown reaches its end, something changes. An opportunity appears, a danger emerges, a path opens or closes. The winds of fate ensure that this story is not fixed, it is alive, shaped not only by the players at the table, but those watching alongside them. The world has been broken and rebuilt, and the gods have fallen and risen anew. The kingdoms stand divided, but for the first time in generations, they've been called together in a city of magic and steel on a night of new beginnings. And somewhere within it, a group of strangers is about to take their first steps into a story that will shape the future of Aer'yndor forever. So welcome back to Group Action Roll. This is Daggerheart. This is Oathfyre.